Fake efficiency gains, short-sighted profit obsession. That's not a description of Chinese policy. That's a description of the British liberal free trade system, the system that measures everything by how much money can be extracted from a nation and its people, leaving an economic wasteland and shattered lives behind.
Hello, and welcome back to our channel. In this video, Susan Kokinda from Promethean Action delivers a sharp analysis of Trump's bold response to the recent Supreme Court ruling on tariffs. We also address wisdom and sound judgment to govern effectively. Before we get into the details, please like, share, subscribe, and leave us a comment.
It's my opinion that the court has been swayed by foreign interests and a political movement that is far smaller than people would ever think.
Foreign interests behind the Supreme Court. That's a serious charge, and most of the coverage will stop there. They'll obsess over who the president was angry at, Gorsuch, Roberts, or they will only focus on China, an obvious target. But if that's as far as you go, you've missed the point entirely. Take a step back and hold the president's statement up against the other major event this week, Thursday's historic Board of Peace meeting, where 60 nations answered President Trump's call to build something new, and where the president made a not-so-offhand remark about Henry Kissinger.
We had some conflicts, to put it mildly, in the world, and I said, Steve, how would you like to be Henry Kissinger Jr. that doesn't leak?
Because when you put those two things together, a very specific picture emerges. Not a president venting about a court ruling, but of a president who understands exactly what he's fighting, and he's naming it out loud. I'm Susan Kokinda. Those foreign interests? Well, I've tracked them for decades. They are the same forces we fought the American Revolution against, and for most of those decades, they've stayed hidden. But look who actually filed the friend of the court briefs against the president's tariff authority. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce, the Cato Institute. These are not Chinese communist front groups. These are the most venerable bastions of Adam Smith's free trade ideology, an ideology which opened the floodgates for cheap Chinese goods to wipe out our manufacturing and to hollow out our middle class for decades. So it's not really China, is it? Now listen to Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent speaking to the Dallas Economic Club shortly after the court released its tariff decision. And Bessent went out of his way to say that he had not changed one word of his speech in reaction to the decision. Why? Because this administration did not need a flawed court decision to tell them who the enemy is.
Economic security is the foundation that allows a country to fulfill its most basic obligation of safeguarding its people. Unfortunately, past administrations lost sight of this fundamental truth, allowing faux efficiency gains and short-sighted profit obsession to eclipse security resilience and long-term value.
Fake efficiency gains, short-sighted profit obsession. That's not a description of Chinese policy. That's a description of the British liberal free trade system, the system that measures everything by how much money can be extracted from a nation and its people, leaving an economic wasteland and shattered lives behind. But what was the fundamental truth that past administrations had abandoned? Here's what Secretary Bessent said.
From the earliest days of the Republic, our founding fathers understood that independence required economic security. The ability to produce essential goods, sustain public credit, and foster domestic industry was seen as the foundation of sovereignty by Alexander Hamilton. And it still is.
Did you catch that? Our Treasury Secretary now joins Trade Ambassador Jamieson Greer in declaring that this administration's policy is a Hamiltonian policy, and it is the foundation of our economic sovereignty. And let's not forget who Alexander Hamilton and the infant American Republic were fighting. Not Chinese communists. They were fighting King George, the Bank of England, and the British East India Company. The same imperial free trade system that now in its 21st century globalist form. Now, as far as the Supreme Court's decision nullifying IEEPA as a vehicle for imposing tariffs, the president and Bessent made clear that the authority exists through many other provisions and there will be no let-up in the administration's defense of American industry and workers. Yesterday, the president moved quickly to sign a new 10% global tariff using other laws, and Bessent said that the tariff revenue in 2026 will be virtually unchanged. But here's what matters most. The day before the court ruled, President Trump was in Georgia, making the human case for what this fight is actually about, and inviting the American people to see it with their own eyes. Here's how the owner of the factory that Trump spoke at put it.
It's been a game changer. We were competing with China. They had taken all of it. They were producing racks at $90 a piece. Our cost alone is $150. You've leveled it. The playing field's back.
So when I came in and we did what we had to do to save all these businesses, you went through the roof, right?
We did. Our quotes, our orders. We're so busy now, we don't know what to do. My lead time now on an order is 36 weeks. We were at a point in time with our RAPS divisions, we were laying off workers. We were working one shift, 3 days a week, begging for work. Now it's the exact opposite.
From one shift 3 days a week to now having to turn away business. And in his speech, the president said that his policies have created 5,000 manufacturing jobs in Georgia alone and 70,000 construction jobs, building more factories that will employ more people as soon as they're opened up. These aren't economic statistics. That's the difference between a dying country and a living one. And the foreign interests behind Friday's court decision want to take that away. Well, they failed, but they'll try again. And that's exactly why you need to understand what happened Thursday at the Board of Peace meeting, because it shows you not just what Trump is defending, but what he's building in the place of this dying system. The president of Kazakhstan put the alternative in the simplest possible terms.
It's about making durable peace through practical, target-oriented measures, but not through endless conferences with wishful resolutions. The world has never seen a move like this. It is absolutely unprecedented because, in essence, peace through construction is a very innovative concept.
Peace through construction. Not peace through managed negotiation that never resolves anything, but construction. And economic growth, which is the only durable basis for peace. And perhaps the most powerful voice in that room came from the youngest head of state present, the president of Paraguay.
I think that of the many things that you have achieved in the last 12 months as president of the U.S., I think the greatest thing, and I'm probably the youngest head of state here, is hope, President. We have lost hope about solving problems for many, many decades. A system that was broken, a system that was not able to bring solutions. Now we're seeing that thanks from your leadership, we are solving the issues.
A broken system that couldn't produce solutions. He's describing exactly what Kissinger built and what the Chamber of Commerce and the Cato Institute went to court to protect. A globalist system that manages the world through war and free trade. The Board of Peace is built on the opposite premise, that human beings, given security and economic opportunity, will recognize each other as creators and builders rather than enemies.
Kokinda highlights how Trump pointed to foreign interests influencing the Supreme Court's decision. And no, it's not just about China. There are deeper roots in the British Empire's Adam Smith free trade ideology. Kokinda connects this to defenders like the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and Cato Institute, framing the tariff battle as a continuation of the historic clash between the American system and the British imperial financial models. Kokinda contrasts this with Trump's new Board of Peace, a 60-nation initiative launched in early 2026, focused on peace through construction. It emphasizes funding housing, security, development, and mutual prosperity over endless managed conflicts. This marks a shift from free trade and perpetual wars toward economic security and nation building. Grasping this reveals Trump's deeper strategy, defeating globalist forces while building a productive, sovereign future. This approach reflects timeless leadership truth that great leaders have always understood. A great leader always wants what is true, just, and right for their citizens. A great leader who loves his country puts citizens first. These leaders put policies in place to create jobs and business opportunities for their citizens, which brings in more revenue for the government, while allowing citizens to enjoy a higher standard of living. Smart leaders reflect on the good and the bad that previous leaders did. One of the great ancient leaders in history, for example, knew the benefits of this. King Solomon saw what happened before him and sought wisdom and sound judgment to govern effectively. He recognized his own limitations as a young ruler and sought an understanding mind to discern right from wrong, enabling him to govern with justice and build lasting prosperity through wise policies instead of conflict or unchecked influences. Real leaders adopt what paid off in the past and then create new innovative ways to make it work in the present with the future in mind. This is the leadership principle of wisdom and sound judgment to govern effectively. Leaders who embrace it put citizens first, build real prosperity, and secure a sovereign future. Choose to support and stand with those who govern this way. Demand nothing less from those in power. Should every leader prioritize their citizens first? Leave your thoughts in the comments.